What's going on, guys? For today's video, we're going to be taking a look at some Frame Arms Girl stuff here in the Frame Arms Girl Modeling Collection Volume 3. In the past, we have taken a look at Volume 1. You can check out that video if you missed it. Volume 2 I actually don't have, so I'll try to get that one, but for the time being, let's go ahead and check out here Volume 3. Let's get into it. Alright, so right here on the front, you can see we are going to also have some waterside decals included with this set, which is awesome. If you take off this kind of mini part right there, that's what we've got on the front side underneath the dust jacket there. Nice silhouette image right here. That's very cool. And around here on the back side is the Frame Arms Girl logo and advertisement here for the Volume 1 and Volume 2 of the set. The MSRP for this one at 2,800 yen. So about $25, somewhere around there. Not too bad. Got just over 100 pages here for this volume, so let's go ahead and get into it here. One thing that we saw in Volume 1, and we are definitely going to see a lot more of in this volume here as well, is of course custom-made clothing for Frame Arms Girls using like actual cloth and ribbons and stuff like that. I've talked about this before. It's something that I find it's got to be incredibly challenging to do in a way that's convincing just for the size of this. These are a couple of like excellent examples here, I have to say. But yeah, I've seen it done really well, and I've seen it done where it just like doesn't look very convincing at all. It's difficult to do. But here is the table of contents here. This looks like we got a bunch of different builds. Features starting off here with the Bikini version Herz Velger, I believe, right here. So it's like custom hair, I believe, for this one. And here's a look at some of the different builds that we're going to have in here. It looks like just kind of as an introduction. Got a pirate-themed Griefin, which is very cool. I've talked about this before, Griefin being one of my favorites in the line, probably my absolute favorite in the line, actually. We've got the Silie here as well, a cool one that I was just thinking about this recently. I'm kind of surprised that we haven't seen any more of the Desktop Army collaboration releases, so it would be kind of cool to see some more of those in the future as well. But yeah, there's the Herz Velger, and this one over here, not sure, it looks like maybe is based on the Laticia or something, maybe possibly, I'm not too sure, but another custom build. So first of all, the Herz Velger at her is going to be our build, which is going to start us off, which is just kind of the standard build here, not too much of like a heavily customized build or anything like that. So we've got a really cool set of photos here of the Herz Velger at her. This one modeled by Yuzup, not really too sure, but this is, I believe this is the one that I reviewed, right? And then we've got some work in progress over here as well, about just kind of assembly of the kit, removing the mold lines in the hair, for example, over here. It does have some LEDs installed in it too, in some of the clear parts. The Herz Velger adder, Herz Velger kit in general, just has a ton of clear parts in it, and so wiring up all these LEDs to light up the clear parts is certainly very cool looking. As you can see, kind of in a couple of the photos, a little bit better than others, but there's like some here on the head, in the part there on the chest, these parts on the knees and on the weapon. Some pretty cool work in progress photos here for that. Let's continue here onto the next page as well. So a lot of really cool stuff. As always, the text is all in Japanese, but it's step by step, goes through here. Step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for some of the different steps for this, including some painting steps, customizing steps, and all that. So really cool stuff there. We've got another Herz Velger here. Up next is the Bikini armor version that we saw at the start, including some of the parts from like the full set. If you remember from this kit, it doesn't include like the weapons and these parts of the backpack. So these are parts from the full kit that in this case have been given to the Bikini armor version, which is pretty cool to kind of see a little bit more kind of weapons and equipment added to the Bikini armor version, which is usually like just this over there, as you can see. But this one is modeled by Keita. It's a really nice build here. Kind of cool to see a mix of the Bikini armor version, which, like I said, typically doesn't really have too much included with it, but with some kind of custom added accessories and stuff as well. So a little bit over here about painting the skin tone, one of the most challenging aspects of kits like this, where it's sometimes easier to go for versions like the Herz Velger invert over here, which has a lot less skin tone. And even the skin tone for the main body is a little bit different for the invert version because of the coloring of it. But really cool Bikini armor build there. Let's take a look here at the invert next. This one also modeled by Keita. The invert color scheme, it's kind of cool, but yeah, it's just so weird to me, like the big, dark, blank, dead eyes. and the skin tone being this sort of like just dead looking skin tone. I don't know, it's kind of off-putting to me, the invert version. So it's one that I've not ever like picked up, just because I just can't really get into the color scheme of it. Obviously you can custom paint it whatever color that you want, but at that point there's really not any particular good reason to pick up this version if you can just get the standard version and just repaint that if you're going to repaint it. But it does have the alternate color clear parts, I guess, so the clear parts are red for this version instead of blue. So that would be one reason, and the decals of course would be a little bit different compared to the standard version. But if you're just doing a custom paint scheme, it just kind of depends on what color clear parts you want. Anyway, here we've got another version of the Herz Velger. This is the Rapid Raider set. So this was a set which a little bit different parts for the body, and then it comes with these what was basically, I thought it was like an MSG set, I think, basically for a bike, sort of motorcycle. And they just kind of packaged it together as this special set here for the Rapid Raider. This one again modeled by Yuzup, but really nice build here of this. Another set that I don't have just because I don't really care for the motorcycle aspect of that. But there's some custom paint work in progress images there for the helmet as well. It's kind of how that's masked and painted and everything. Really nice logo decals on the bike as well. That's pretty cool. So up next we've got the Adder Casual Alice version and Juden-kun. This is based off of the Herz Velger Adder, and Juden-kun modeled by Koneko no Shippo and Yoshuan. So a collaboration build. I guess maybe the clothing is maybe the model kit and the clothing were maybe done by two different people. So that's probably the collaboration aspect of this. And the Juden-kun would be this guy here. It's a Frameworms Girl actually branded kit. Obviously not a girl, or I guess I don't know if it's meant to be a girl. I don't believe so. It's just meant to be a genderless robot, I believe. But anyway, it's a kind of cool set. I've never actually built one of those, but they're kind of interesting. Sort of a precursor to some more of the different kind of stuff that we got to see in maybe like the Hexagear line, where it's basically just meant to be a robot that you can basically attach all sorts of different stuff to it or something. But anyway, kind of cool. Have you guys ever built a Juden-kun? Is it fun? I don't know. It doesn't really look particularly that interesting, but I feel like I should build one at some point just to kind of have fun playing around with it. There's some work in progress over here about painting the eyes. Another very important step there, of course. Kind of interesting to see that usually when they have kits like this, let's see, is there more photos on the next page? Yeah. Where there's like custom clothing like this decorative clothing, then usually for like the body under the clothing, they just don't really usually include like too much of like the actual mecha parts. But it's interesting to see for this one how like the top half is just like the skin tone arms, but for the legs, they didn't go for like the, even like these just kind of covered bikini legs like this version, or like we saw before. Yeah, like this is the same ones, but they went for like the more armored legs here. Kind of interesting combination there between the two, between like the dress and these mecha legs, but interesting anyway. Here we've got Lucifer's Wing Original Style and Herz Velger Bikini Knight Armor version. This one actually, interestingly, includes a 1/100 scale graze as one of the kits that's used for this kind of collaboration build here, or this collective build of like kind of the 3 units there. And this one's modeled and described by EO08, an interesting version of the Herz Velger there with some different kind of custom parts on that. The Heaven's Wing aspect of it, I believe, was that MSG set right here, which you can combine into making different forms and stuff like that. And then again, yeah, interesting use of some of the graze, 100 scale graze parts in here for this as well. Very interesting. All right, it's kind of not really to my taste. I've talked about this many times before, the whole like fantasy, like fantastical style elements like dragons and centaurs. This is not a centaur, it's just riding on a mecha horse, but mecha animals, not quite to my taste as much as just like the pure mecha, I guess we could say. Something more like this, the Bahu. This one, of course, famous in the Frameworms Girl line because it is modeled or is designed by Yoji Shinkawa of Metal Gear fame, of course. And you can kind of see some familiar Metal Gear style aspects in the design. But this particular kit here, modeled by Rika. So it's a cool kit, and there's a couple different versions of the kit. And I imagine, yeah, we're probably going to see a couple different versions of the build in here to go along with that. But cool build here of the Bahu, which is the white version, the standard version. or the original version, the first one to come out anyway. The helmet's kind of, I don't really like the helmet too much, but the rest of the design is really cool. It's probably one of my favorite Frame Arms Girl kits, after the Griefin, of course, but it is a cool one for sure. The Yingu is the black version of that. This one's modeled by Nishi. It's kind of cool, a little bit different style for this one. The Bahu had a little bit of like subtle weathering on there, which looks really nice. This one's just straight up like very clean build here for the Yingu. Just different color version, essentially. I don't think that it really came with too much in the way of different parts for the actual kit release. I don't think so. I think it's just a alternate color, but kind of cool how we had like a white and black version, kind of like what we had with the Luden's kit. Speaking of Metal Gear, or speaking of, anyway, not Metal Gear in that case, but Kojima anyway. Anyway, you get the connection that I'm going for with that. Here's another Frame Arms Girl Bahu silver version over here, modeled by, once again, Koneko Shippo and Yoshuan. I would imagine, again, I think Yoshuan is maybe the one who did the clothing design for this version. Kind of interesting, it's the silver version, and does have this kind of very silver theme to it, with a lot of these kind of jewel aspects. Oh, there you go. Kind of interesting use. It looks like some of the parts of, yeah, that's some of the Bahu parts and some other different MSG parts all kind of gone together here to make this kind of mecha, anyway, cat of some kind, big cat. I don't know what exactly type of cat to say, jaguar sort of, or something like that. Anyway, an interesting build here. Interesting use of some of those parts. All right, another Bahu here. This is the heavy armor version. This one is modeled by Uruhana-san. A familiar name if you've been following my reviews of other different Mecha Musume model kit books and magazines. We see Uruhara-san quite frequently. It's kind of cool to see a take on a heavy armor version of the Bahu. It's not particularly heavily armored, except that it's got added parts here on the legs. The gun is a little bit different, and so yeah, especially around the torso, not very heavily armored there at all, but really nice looking build here of this one. Interesting how the face almost looks like it's a 30 Minute Sisters face and hair set for that, like a 30 Minute Sisters head put onto the Frame Arms Girl body almost. It just kind of in the style of this, the way that it looks. But no, it's just customized from the original head. Interesting, but very cool. I like the colors and the design on this one. The added parts are pretty cool. Another Bahu here, original arrange version. This one is by EO08. Pretty cool addition of the added arms in the back, this long tail. It's interesting, and yeah, the just regular arms, and then it's got the mecha arms on the back holding the swords. And I really like the color scheme on this one too. The kind of dark gray, almost black sort of looking armor, and then with the orange accents, looks really cool. And then this part that goes around on the head also has a kind of orange gradient on it. That's very interesting. Quite unique style there for that one. Very cool. We got some work in progress images over here for the painting of that. And then Silie is here. So this is the Frame Arms Girl Silie, modeled by Rika, once again. This was a fun kit. Yeah, like I said, I was thinking about this kit the other day just because I had like completely forgot about it. And then I don't know what reminded me of it all of a sudden, but I was thinking about it and thinking like, yeah, that was a pretty fun kit. I would like to build another one of those at some point. Kind of cool to have that desktop army style in a model kit form with these. And yeah, I wish that they would make some more of these because they're pretty fun. And there's a lot of really interesting desktop army designs. But I would much rather have it as something that I can build rather than just getting the figures. Speaking of the figures, I do have some figures that I need to review for you guys. Some desktop army figures that have been sitting over there on my shelf for a long time that I need to review. But really cool custom build there of the Silie. So that looks like a lot of fun. Something I'm definitely going to consider doing for a custom project maybe in the future. Maybe not this exactly, but anyway, working on that kit just because it's a fun kit. And then here we've got another Silie Striker. This is the Silie Striker version modeled by June Art Planning, aka Akinori Yoshimura. This was one of the two. I think they only made the two different versions in the Frame Arms Girl line, the Silie and the Silie Striker. This is obviously the Striker version, just basically kind of different parts and different equipment for it. So an example of kind of what I'm talking about, I wish that they would make some more of these because they basically just make just different equipments for it. It doesn't necessarily, I would actually like if they are going to make more, that it not be the same Silie character. Introducing a different character would also be nice, but you know, they could just make another Silie and just add different parts and different option parts and option weapons or something like that, and I think that'd be cool. But what about you guys? What do you think? Did you get it? Did you build it? Did you like it? Would you like more? Okay. Although it's not very easy to recognize at first, this is another Sylphie here, the Fairy Princess version. This is modeled once again by Koneko Shippo and Yoshwan, so it seems like they did the collaboration on all of the kits in this Mook that feature the kit and like some clothing aspect to them. So an interesting fairy princess theme, as you might be able to guess. It's not exactly my cup of tea, once again with the fantasy fairy aspect of it. But I can certainly appreciate the craftsmanship on this. The kit itself, which you can't hardly see, other than the head and the feet, that's kind of hidden underneath everything there. But the craftsmanship on it, of course, is very highly detailed. It does look very nice. But okay, interesting. Let's see. Aha, the Griefin up next. My favorite. This one is modeled by Nishi. So we got the standard Griefin here, and then I would assume we're going to have at least one. We got the pirate version as well. And then we'll probably, well, that might be it. I was hoping we might have some more, but we might just only have the two. This is just the standard Griefin here. Actually, this would be the, is this the standard version? Yeah, it's the standard version. There's the ultraviolet version as well, which it always kind of makes me confused because in the standard version, the hair is violet. But on the ultraviolet version, the mecha suit is violet. And the hair color, I think, was blue, if I remember correctly. But anyway, it's a cool kit, definitely. This is the one that I always say, if you guys have never built any Framearms Girl kit and you're interested in trying one out, if you're coming from a background of building and enjoying a lot of mecha models, this is the one I would recommend to you, because there's obviously a large aspect, a large portion of the kit is just going to basically just be this big mecha model, which is her exosuit. And then the character model itself is also really nice, I think. It's definitely one of the best ones in the line, my personal favorite. Really cool look over here at how they used some different customized parts there, some different detail parts to fill in some of the empty spaces here on these parts, which would be on the inside of some of the mecha parts right there. So kind of cool work in progress images there for that. Very nice. And then we've got our pirate version of the Griefin here. This one is modeled by Urahana-san. So really nice style on this one. Really expertly done. The added equipment here on the sides is pretty interesting, or that's the equipment from the Griefin kit, but just the kind of the way that it's arranged is very different from normal. And then of course this anchor lance weapon is pretty cool. So really cool, interesting work here. Pirate theme is not something, like how I was saying, fantasy theme is not something I'm really into. Also not a really big fan of like pirate themed stuff necessarily, but this one obviously is pretty cool. Obviously with the pirate theme and the red hair color, I think people are going to draw associations with that, what's that, Hololive singer character? I can't remember her name. Something Marine? Hosho Marine, something like that. Sorry guys, Hololive is something that I'm also not into, but I am at least vaguely familiar with the character. Anyway, but I think you can probably definitely see some connections there. All right, here we've got the Laticia and the Herz Velger. So we've got the Laticia Ruby and the Herz Velger Rufus Agito over here. Both kind of similarly themed kits, which were two of the kits that we have here on the front. These builds, both by Nishi. Two designs in the Framearms Girl line that I wasn't particularly into just because of the mecha aspect of the design. I just didn't really care too much for this kind of weird, like thin, wiry, kind of spiky dragon sort of theme to it, which wasn't really for me. But really nice builds here of these, especially like the painting on the kits themselves, that kind of satin finish for the hair and skin tone against this gloss finish for the clothing. Looks really nice here on these, so you can see with some of the different equipment attached onto the Laticia kit here first. That looks really nice. Beautiful painting here, beautiful colors and everything. Yeah, I don't like the style as much of like the equipment and everything on these ones, but the painting is really nice. It's a little bit more of the work in progress there for the Laticia, and here for the Herz Velger version. Definitely pretty cool there, and then the combination of the two. Very interesting. What do you guys think about those? Yeah, they weren't two of my favorite releases out in the line, but they're all cool in their own way. I don't know. And here we've got the standard Laticia. This one is from Keita. So this looks like it's just the like I said, kind of standard base kit. I'm sure there's a little bit of modification in here. Looks like maybe thickened the thighs slightly, a little bit in the waist section to kind of make it a bit more shapely, you could say. Let's see, is there going to be some work in progress on that? Oh yeah, also, duh, got rid of the joints. So filled in the joints on the knees and the elbows, the upper body there as well. So basically the entire kit just got rid of all the joints on it and basically made it into a figure, basically recreating the box art image there essentially, which is pretty cool. It's something that I've always wanted to do. I should do it at some point. So I've seen it done and I've wanted to try it forever, where you take one of these kits and you fill in the seams, fill in the joints just to make it look more like a natural human body, right? Of course, that completely eliminates your articulation, but it does make the kit overall look nicer not having those joints in there. So really nice, beautiful build there of the Laticia. That's pretty cool from Keita. And then our other kits from the front, which we also saw on the front inside page there. This one is the Framearms Girl Innocentia. So we've got the Innocentia steampunk version, gothic and Lolita style. I guess it's a combination of them here. These ones are once again by Koneko Shippo and Yoshuan, based off of the Innocentia kit. The Innocentia, like with the Laticia, is one of the Framearms Girl kits that basically just doesn't come with hardly anything other than the body. It's just like a blank body that you're basically then meant to use, or you can just do nothing else with it if you want. You can just keep it as just the standard body, or you can add more parts and equipment and stuff onto it. So these are pretty cool, kind of combination build. It's kind of cool that we've seen a number of these in this issue, like we saw with these two and then with these two as well. It's kind of cool to see like pair builds that go together, sister units, something like that. Another Innocentia here. This is another gothic one. This is a gothic punk version, so different from the steampunk gothic version. This one is the gothic punk version. This one modeled by Daesan. Pretty cool here, use of that MSG weapon. I can't remember what the name of that weapon is, that sword that kind of breaks up into the different segments there. Kind of cool to see the use of that, and nice painting style here on this one as well. A little bit of work in progress for that one over here, especially showing how the dress was painted just by a ton of masking on there. Ooh, I would dread doing that kind of masking on the skirt part, but hey, more power to them. Next up is the Framearms Girl Lumi Crystal. This one is modeled by Yuzup, and this one is based off of the Innocentia blue version, is what we have here. But the Lumi Crystal, I guess, just coming from the fact that it's meant to be obviously an ice or outdoor winter snowboarding themed build here. The snowboard and the boots, I would imagine that's all just like a custom scratch build, as well as modifications to the outfit and obviously the hat and everything else there. We just have a very heavily modified Innocentia here to make this snowboard version with the Kotobukiya snowboard. It's pretty cool, I have to say. Very nice inclusion. And then another Innocentia blue version here. This one is the Lapis Vedere. Lapis Vedere? I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but this one is again modeled by Nishi. Pretty cool use of, again, some MSG option parts here to kind of make this, again, kind of sort of exosuit there for that, using a bunch of different MSG stuff. Very cool, where you have like the base body of the Innocentia is like kind of pretty standard, not really too heavily customized or anything on the body itself, but you have all this extra stuff kind of built around that for the, like I said, sort of exosuit mecha aspect of the build. That's pretty cool. Another Laticia over here, Laticia Original Painter Girl. This one is by Uruhana-san. Love the colors and the design on this one. That looks really fun. Very kind of playful style with the colors of this one. I think really suits the build, really suits the character on this one. That's kind of cool. And use of a bunch of different parts. So it's based on the Laticia, but I can see there's parts used from a number of different kits. Parts from the Griefin used in there, some of the MSG parts. This airbrush weapon, if you guys weren't aware, is available as a Kotobukiya MSG weapon option set. It's like a compressor and airbrush, as well as there's like a Super Soaker style like water gun in there in that set as well. Here we've got the Rider and Original Ninja H2R. This one again modeled by Uruhana-san. Really nice painting on this one too, with that purple, and we've got some like metal effect parts added into here for some little like metal detail parts on that. It look kind of nice with the whole motorcycle theme, but really nice painting and modeling done there on the character. We've got the Laticia Kawasaki version here, another motorcycle custom. This one by Nishi. Interesting use of some like carbon fiber film that you can use on that to get that carbon fiber effect. Again, just like with the previous build that we saw earlier with the Rapid Raider, this one here, some really nice decal work on this one. Of course, on like a racing bike like this, you got to have the decals on there. This one actually, so we've got in this photo here with the Kawasaki motorcycle, but this one doesn't seem like that's kind of like the main thing with this one. It's actually just this customized, and I would imagine this is maybe using some parts from some motorcycle kits or something for this, for customizing these parts here on it. But that's kind of quite interesting. Very cool sort of racing suit made for this. Very interesting. All right, up next, this is, after a little bit more work in progress photos on that, kind of cool to see the unpainted version of that. Maybe get a kind of a better sense of where some of those parts came from, as you can see. But yeah, Frame Arms Girl, the movie too, very interesting. This one is using the Frame Arms Girl, or Frame Music Girl Hatsune Miku kit, as well as the Hexagear Bandit Wheel set. This one is modeled by Akinori Yoshimura. Very interesting, another motorcycle custom build. Here you can see some more parts of that. An interesting use of the Frame Music Girl Hatsune Miku kit here for the base body of that. Very interesting. Like the little pink aspect there on the side, and the addition of the Go Rise kind of head unit right there. It's actually just the Go Rise head, and then using parts of the Miku's hair for like the ponytail on it. That's pretty cool. And the Cross Frame Girl, Gaogaigar Girl, is here too. This one modeled by Keita. This is another one, like with the Miku kit, another kind of crossover release in the Frame Arms line, or in this case, the Cross Frame Girl line. Whereas with the Miku kit, it's the Frame Music Girl. But yeah, pretty cool. If you guys are Gaogaigar fans, check that out. This is another kit that I didn't pick up or build. I got the Brave Girl, which was like the character model kit without all the mecha stuff added on it. Because yeah, I'm just not really that big of a fan of this kind of style of mecha. Drill themed mecha, I guess maybe it would be. Pilot Girl here, this one is by Blondie51. So there we go. Blondie51 was one of our guest judges for the Mecha Musume contest that I ran, let's see, about a year ago, something like that. I'm a big fan of Blondie's work. I'm not sure if I've ever seen this one before, actually. I'm sure I probably have at some point on Twitter, but really cool work here from Blondie-san, as always. Love the modeling style and the painting style, especially the colors on this one. Looks really good, just like the base body there, that orange and black color scheme. I really like it. The Ultimate Guardian version SDR, this is again just kind of a combination of modeling support goods parts, modeling support goods heavy sets. There are different sets that you can get and kind of combine into this big mecha. Yeah, you can do that. Anyway. And all right, I think we got maybe, this could be our last one, it looks like. The Cross Frame Girl Brave Maid. So I was just mentioning about the Cross Frame Girl Brave. Getting a little tongue-tied here. This one is, once again, with Koneko Shippo and Yoshuan here for this one. Another one using the clothing on here, or like real fabric and different, like kind of real world, I don't know if another way to describe that other than just like kind of like real world materials, it seems like. Stuff that you would use for like clothing or jewelry design or nails. So like some of these like stickers, like these decorative stickers and like jewels and stuff like that, it's stuff that you would use for doing nail art, which you sometimes see used on like Gundam and other different like mecha models, but you see it used much more often on kits like this, like Frame Arms Girl kits. So there you go, a little bit more of the work in progress on that. And then last but not least is a little bit about here our included waterside decal set, and just I guess kind of about how to apply the decals. And on our last page here, credits and the actual decal set, which I'm probably just going to leave in there for the time being. But that's it. So let me know what you guys thought about this one in the comments. I look forward to hearing from you guys. As always, what were some of your favorite builds in there? There's a lot of really cool stuff in there. I always love seeing the Griefin, and of course it was nice to see the Silie in there as well, because I hadn't really seen too much about that kit for a long time. I almost completely forgot about it entirely. But if you guys want to check out some of the kits for yourself, check the link in the video description to USA Gundam Store. We've got a bunch of Frame Arms Girl kits in stock now, and actually the Griefin I believe is also in stock now. So again, yeah, if you guys have not checked out any of the kits before, or if you've just not checked out the Griefin before, I would definitely recommend checking that kit out in particular. But while you're here guys, aside from letting me know in the comments what were some of your favorite builds from Volume 3, Leave a like on the video and make sure that you're subscribed. Also helps out a great deal. I really appreciate all your guys' support. Till next time, hope y'all have a great day. I'll see y'all later. Bye guys.